Hey guys, I'm Derek Butler and welcome back to Season 2 of We the People. Over the summer, I hope that you, as I have taken time to reflect, refocus, and plan for the things that I still want to accomplish in these final months of 2017, but also looking forward to the great things still to come in 2018. I've also thought a lot about this video blog, We the People, and I've been able to sit down and speak with some amazing people all across this country. Today I sit down with an amazing Chicagoan, Tim King. He is the founder and CEO of Urban Prep Academies here in the city. He started the school in the early 2000s and now has expanded to 3 campuses all across the city's south side. You guys have probably heard of this school where 100% of their graduates go on to attend colleges and universities all across the country. It was a joy to sit down and speak with him. As a former employee of Urban Prep, I've never had the opportunity to really sit down and pick Tim King's brain, but this was an amazing opportunity, and I hope that you enjoy.
My name is Tim King. I'm the founder and CEO of Urban Prep Academies, and we founded Urban Prep in 2006 is when we opened our first school. We started everything in 2002, and it took us several years in order to get our first campus open. It was quite an adventure, a long process to make that happen, but we were thrilled when we were able to do so and open the first school, and then very soon after that opened the second and the third, and our real goal in doing it was all about how are we going to increase the number of black men in our city and frankly in our country who have college degrees. I was really fortunate to have this very, very good education growing up. My family sent me to private schools. Interestingly, for elementary school, I attended a place called the Howelton Day School, which was a school that was created by a group of African American public school teachers who were dissatisfied with Chicago public school system. So they decided to just create their own private school. And they created that school in the 50s, and I was able to attend that school for elementary school, and then went on to attend private high school, St. Ignatius, in the city of Chicago. And after that, went to Georgetown for undergrad, and then Georgetown for law school as well. So education's always been an important focus in my life, very big priority for my parents, for my family. Obviously, they invested a lot of money in my education. When I was young, I suppose not unlike many young people, I had aspirations to become president of the United States. I think you often hear people say when they're young they want to be, they want to be a doctor, they want to be a lawyer, they want to be an astronaut, they want to be president, they want to be a basketball star. You always have these super ambitious plans and goals, and so that was where I was when I was young. I was like, I'm going to grow up and I'm going to be president of the United States one day. I had no plans to be an educator. I went to college and then went to law school, and my plan was I was going to leverage my law degree in a way that was going to allow me to go into public service as an elected official. When I was in my first year of law school, a former professor of mine from undergrad became the head of an independent school in the inner city of Washington, D.C. And he asked me if I had time in my law school schedule to be able to teach a history class. He had taught me in history as an undergrad, and so thought I'd be a good history teacher. So I said, sure, I can teach a class, part-time, that'd be fine, and still do my legal work. And lo and behold, I think much to my parents' dismay, I ended up becoming a full-time teacher and a part-time law student because I just loved it so much. I loved being in the classroom. I loved the interaction between myself and the students. I really enjoyed, being a part of what I viewed at that time and continue to view at this time as changing the world through other people. If we can provide education, good education to young people, they will in turn have their lives changed. They will change the lives of others, and you really do create this almost ripple effect through time, through even the smallest positive interaction and education with a young person. So I really became enamored with that, and so I was hooked. Finished the law degree, came back to Chicago, and then ran an independent all-boys school here in Chicago, and then that led me to want to start Urban Prep because I wanted to provide education that was, really focused on black males that families didn't have to pay for to be able to attend. I mean, I had really great luck being born into the family I was born into, and I do recognize and acknowledge it as being luck because I didn't do anything to become the son of Paul and Loanne King, who had the financial wherewithal to be able to send me and my brother to the best private schools around. That was lucky. When I started Urban Prep, I thought, everyone's not that lucky, but you know what we can do? We can make sure that a generation of young people who go to Urban Prep can have lucky kids, right? Because they'll go to Urban Prep and they'll graduate, they'll go to college, they'll graduate from college, they'll have kids, and then their kids will have all kinds of choices and options. The story behind founding Urban Prep was one that should be in a movie. So you have to understand, at the period of time when we started Urban Prep, the number of African American males in the city of Chicago who were in public schools earning college degrees was just 4%. So just 4% of every 9th grade African American male in Chicago public schools was going to end up earning a college degree, a bachelor's degree, by the time they were 25. So you had that on the education side. You had high levels of violence. You had high rates of unemployment for black males. And so really, black males were, in this period of time, in crisis, but particularly in crisis when it came to educational opportunities. And so when we applied to open Urban Prep, it seemed to us, and I refer to we and us a lot because, while I am the founder, certainly I'm not the only person who was involved. It seemed to us that this was a no-brainer. You create a school that's going to be focused on this population, and then you're going to improve the educational outcomes. But some people didn't see it that way. So we applied the first time to open the school and we were rejected. And then we spent a year reworking our application and gaining additional community support, et cetera, and went back a second time and applied and got rejected again. And then at that point, I decided I was done, and I wasn't going to spend another year trying to start this school. And I remember this so vividly. Had a conversation with a colleague of mine, a friend of mine, and she said, "So, you're applying again?" And I said, "Absolutely not. There's no way I'm doing this again. Tried twice, 2 years, spent 2 years of my life, my money, resources, energy, everything on this. They don't want to do. They're not going to prove it. So fine, forget it. I'm just going to move on. Go be president of the United States. Something easier, right, to do than obviously starting a school." And the friend of mine, she said to me, "Tim, what's the Urban Prep motto?" Because we had created everything. We created the colors, we created the name, we created the curriculum, we created the program, we created everything, including the motto. And I paused and I said, "The motto is we believe." And she said, "Well, Tim, either you do or you don't." And that really resonated with me because what she was saying was, either you really believe that Urban Prep is going to make a difference and you really believe that there's a need and you really believe in these kids, or you don't. If you don't, that's cool, move on. But if you do, you know what has to come next. And what has to come next is applying a third time, which is what I did. And we applied the third time was a charm, and we were approved, and then very quickly thereafter we got our second and our third schools. I'm not really surprised by the excitement and attention that Urban Prep has received because of our success in our program. I mean, we are the first charter public high school for boys in the country. So there's going to be some level of interest because, everyone's always interested in kind of the first. So I'm not really that surprised. Although I have to tell you, in a weird sort of way, I'm a bit saddened because I think one of the reasons people are so excited or impressed or enthusiastic about our work is because deep down they don't think that it's possible. They don't think it's really possible for black males to be successful in this way. And so I don't want to criticize our fans because, we love people who love us. That's great. But really at the core, you've got this element of, or I feel like there's this element of the reason this is so noteworthy and so exciting and so fantastic is because we never really thought that it was possible. But I hope one day it stops being celebrated so that, because I hope that it's just the norm. Like, no one's gonna get excited about a black boy getting to college because that's what everybody does, and that would be great. We spent the last 10 years really focused on honing the model and developing our program solidly here in the city of Chicago. I think the next 10 years really are all about expanding nationally. What I have found to be effective and leading to my success in life was finding something that I liked doing, that I loved doing, and doing it. And sometimes, and realizing that sometimes what you like doing and what you're doing, sometimes that's not what you dreamed you'd be doing. I have found that it is essential to be flexible in your dreams and ambitions. That doesn't mean that you do something, spend your life doing something you hate, but for me, I have found that while I aspired to be president of the United States and I had a dream and I had a trajectory to obviously not, necessarily become president, but, go into public service, get elected, become an elected official, and change the world, right? That was the ultimate outcome. How do I positively impact the world? I changed that dream, midway, because I found something else that, I like doing. And guess what? I could have an impact on the world doing this. And so I shifted my dream. So the advice and counsel that I would give to anyone, be it millennial or baby boomer or another Generation Xer, is just be flexible in your dreams. It's not a failure to change a dream. And you can still be a success and have a positive impact on the world if you just, change course. That's all right.
I hope that you guys enjoyed that episode. It is amazing to see people who have a vision and a passion and are able to translate that and make it come to fruition. Tim King is definitely one of those people. Make sure that you follow us on social media, on Facebook and Twitter at Be Hopeful People, as well as our website, BeHopefulPeople.com, and also on SoundCloud. I want to try something different and turn my interviews into podcasts. That way you can listen to the entire interview anywhere you go. It's impossible to put a 30-40 minute interview into one video. So this podcast gives you access to hear the entire interview. Go to soundcloud.com/BeHopefulPeople. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and remember, be hopeful, people.